Greetings, children. Welcome to my channel Inside Accountancy by Shakun. Accountancy Made Easy. Today we'll be talking about Chapter 6 Retirement of a Partner. Here starts the lesson. In this video, we'll be talking about retirement of a partner, revaluation of assets, and reassessment of liability, some questions which will be given as assignment, and obviously, retirement means the reconstitution of the firm. So, just a recap about what retirement is. Retirement of a partner means when a retiring partner he ceases to be a partner of the firm, but the business of the firm continues. The business continues with the remaining or the continuing partners according to the new partnership deed or the changed partnership profit sharing ratio. Retirement refers to the reconstitution of the firm, and in case of reconstitution there are certain adjustments which need to be made. We have already talked about this in my previous videos. The adjustments which need to be made at the time of reconstitution are change in profit sharing ratio, which we have already done, treatment of goodwill, that is the adjustment entry. Again, we have talked about this topic in my previous videos. For more information, you can click on the I button. We have also discussed about the treatment of accumulated profits and losses and reserves, which needs to be distributed between the old partners, all partners in their old ratio. So this topic also is done. Today we'll be talking about the revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities. This would be our topic of concern. So revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities. What does it mean? At the time of retirement of a partner, assets of the firm are revalued and liabilities are reassessed with the purpose that the retiring partner does not benefit or lose because of the change in the values. So since he is the retiring partner, he should not benefit because of any revaluation, neither he should lose. To give effect to the change in the value of assets and liabilities, revaluation account is prepared in the same manner as it was prepared at the time of change in profit sharing ratio amongst the existing partners or at the time of admission of a partner. So revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities is done in the same manner as we used to do in the previous chapters. Let's talk about the accounting entries in case of revaluation of assets. So in case of assets, there might be three cases. Either there will be an increase in asset or decrease in asset or some unrecorded asset. Whenever there is an increase in the value of an asset, the journal entry would be asset account DR to revaluation. Since assets always have a debit balance, so whenever there is an increase in the value of asset account is debited. And since this leads to a gain to the firm, to the existing partners, therefore revaluation account is credited. For the decrease in the value of an asset, decrease in the value of an asset is a loss. Therefore, revaluation account is debited. And decrease in the value of an asset according to the modern approach, asset always will be credited in case of decrease. So our entry would be revaluation account DR to asset account. If we talk about the posting, these entries would be posted respectively on the CR side. The first entry would be posted on the CR side of revaluation account and the second entry would be posted on the debit side of revaluation account. The third entry relating to assets may be in regard to recording of unrecorded assets. Now, unrecorded assets are those assets which have not been yet recorded in the books of accounts. Now, indirectly, we can say that this also leads to an increase in the value of an asset. Thus, the same entry has been passed as in case of increase. That is, asset account is debited and revaluation is credited. Moving on. Now, the accounting entries in case of reassessment of liabilities, again, there may be three situations. First, there may be an increase in the value of liability. In such a situation, our entry would be revaluation account DR to liability. Since liability always has a credit balance, that means it is always credited in case there is an increase in liability. Therefore, liability is credited and revaluation is debited because increase in liability would lead to a loss for the firm. Therefore, revaluation is debited. The next entry would be for the decrease in the value of liability. Decrease in liability is always debited and it is transferred to the credit side of revaluation account. Therefore, liability account DR to revaluation account. Moving on, there might be certain unrecorded liabilities also. Unrecorded liability will be treated just the way increase in liability is treated. Therefore, the same entry, revaluation account DR to the liability. Moving on, there might be certain accounting entries relating to certain expenses on the reconstitution of the firm. So whenever there is any change in profit sharing ratio which leads to reconstitution, there might be certain expenses which may be borne either by the partner or by the firm. So there are three cases for that as well. First is when remuneration is paid to a partner to carry out the reconstitution of the firm. So remuneration for the firm is an expense. Therefore, revaluation account is debited and remuneration is paid to a partner. Therefore, the concerned partner's capital account is credited. Moving on, the next case is when expenses for reconstitution are borne by the partner but paid by the firm. Now, the person who bears, whether it is the firm or the partner, anyone who bears the expenses is always debited and the one who pays is credited. Just remember this as a hint. So, who is bearing it? It is borne by the partner. So, partner's capital account is debited and it is paid by the firm. So, firm will be credited. Now, we can't credit firm account. So, we are crediting cash or bank because that is how the firm is going to make the payment. Moving on, the next case is when the expenses are incurred and paid by the firm. So now the firm is bearing the expenses and the firm is paying the expenses also. Therefore, our entry would be revaluation account DR to cash or bank. Since the firm is bearing, so revaluation is debited, and since the firm is paying, so cash and bank is credited. So this was all about the accounting entries in case of revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities. On the basis of such entries, the revaluation account is prepared. Now let's have a look at the specimen of revaluation account, or we also call it profit and loss adjustment account. Both are same. Please remember that you always need to write for the year ended, whatever date is given in the question, and DR and CR. That is a must. So this is how the format of revaluation account shall appear. You should always remember that we have already talked about the journal entries. Let's take them one by one. For the increase in the value of asset, our entry was asset to revaluation. So revaluation is credited. So I have written two assets here. That's the increase. And in case of decrease, it is mentioned on the debit side. Similarly, increase in liability, the entry was revaluation account DR to liability. Therefore, it has been mentioned on the debit side here, and correspondingly the decrease is mentioned on the credit side. So on the basis of the journal entries that we passed, we can do the posting here in the partner's capital, in the revaluation account. This partner's capital and cashback expenses are the postings of the expenses on reconstitution. Otherwise, you can remember that on the debit side, you always record the decrease in asset and increase in liability. If you are not required to pass journal entries in a question and you are required to do the question directly, then you need to remember that on the debit side, decrease in asset. If you remember just this much, it will be more than sufficient. Why? Because decrease in asset if appears on the debit side, so obviously increase in asset will be on the credit side. And since we have decrease in asset here, so increase in liability and vice versa. So if you just remember decrease in asset, rest will all automatically fall into place. So on the debit side, we record decrease in asset and increase in liability, and on the credit side, we record increase in asset and decrease in liability. After we put all these values in the revaluation account, the balancing figure will either be the profit on the debit side or loss on the credit side. Either of the way, if there is profit or loss, it will be distributed between the partners in their profit sharing ratio. So it is distributed amongst all the partners. Even the retiring partner is a part of all partners. So it will be distributed amongst all partners in their old ratio. Moving on. Now, on the basis of the concepts that I have taught to you, and this is a repetition of the concepts that we have already discussed in the previous videos in case of admission of a partner and in case of change in profit sharing ratio. On the basis of such concepts, you are required to solve question number 24 and 25 from T.S. Grewal. In this video, we have talked about the retirement of a partner, revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities, the journal entries, and the specimen of revaluation account. I hope the concepts were clear to you. If you have any questions, you can contact me on my email ID. Any kind of comments are welcome. You can like, share, and subscribe my channel. So this is Inside Accountancy by Shakun signing off. Thank you.